All right, we're back. So one of the first things to kind of figure out that becomes really clear in this section versus the sections before, and you might wonder, Dr. Ulrich, why don't you just teach the diagrams first? Because this is how we learn. You see all of these abstract descriptions of stories and whatnot and interactions that Favret-Saada reports upon, but she didn't understand the structure. So we're equally bewildered, like, why is she telling me this? Who are these people? Why is this all happening? And then at the end, it's not like it's got a tidy little bow at the end, but at the end, it's like, oh, that's what's going on. And we resonate with those diagrams at the end because we were confused before. All of our churning, burning brains trying to figure this out gets resolved by those diagrams. All right, so domains. What do I mean when I say domain? I say the witch, the unwitcher, and the bewitched all have specific domains. Those are geographical locations, but they're also topographical. Or they're topographical, geographical, but they also have a spiritual domain. So think of it this way. You got your entire area, and your power, your force is in that area. Nothing's getting in, nothing's getting out. That's you. That's the independent person. The witch is the one who has a surplus of power and comes out and tries to stick itself into your little area. Someone who has very strong blood, of course, the witch would be like, nah, I can't get it. But someone who has any element of weakness, like, say, Mr. Jeanne, absolutely screwed. Okay, for an ordinary person, the domain is their landscape and all of their possessions. There's no in or outflow of force or vitality. The ordinary person who's not bewitched just resides, established in their own domain. Now, when Favret-Saada starts explaining magic, which is really about the circulation of force and vitality, she says that those who are possessors of magic, unwitchers and witches, are those who have more force than just their domain. They have an excess of force. That excess of force either goes out to steal from other ordinary people or is used voluntarily by an unwitcher to block witches. So the unwitcher insulates the bewitched from the attack of the witch. They put themselves in between and screw up the flow of energy between the bewitched and the unwitched. Now, a witch has his own domain. However, he has surplus force, which circulates outward because his domain is negative, as Favret-Saada is going to describe with a little negative sign. It has a lack to it, and that lack needs to be filled. So his force moves outward because it has lack. It is lacking. And that will affect the offspring and the livestock of the target's family. But the witch is only really targeting the head of the family. Here, Bob-on. The wife and the animals and whatnot might be afflicted, but the real target is the head of the householder. Now, we need to understand that we have unwitchers. They have their own domains, and they're happy in that domain. They have surplus force in their domain, but they don't use that surplus force to attack other beings or to circulate, to pull other force into them. They, in fact, step into the domain of the bewitched. So for a temporary time, the unwitcher is sitting in the domain of the bewitched, but putting him or herself forward so that their negative drawing power attacks the witch's drawing power, initially cancels them out, and then conquers the witch. So if a bewitcher, though, if someone is failed at unwitching, we have to wonder how that would occur. So the thing I keep thinking about is if an unwitcher fails, presumably they die. However, we generally see that they say, oh, it's too strong. I got to extract myself from this situation. It's too strong. You're too caught. But I wonder if, and Favret-Saada doesn't say this, if an unwitcher fails, they've established a connection between the vital force of the witch and them. Could it be possible that they could carry that channel back to their own domain? And after failing, the original witch could then target them? Doesn't say. Logically, that makes sense to me, you know, as much as logic is in play here. Now, the bewitched has his own domain. But the thing is, the witch has gotten into it. It has gone through the holes in his soul and his space, has found the spot where they are unclenched and gotten in. So the witch might be slowed down based on, you know, spells or charms or salt, and ultimately an unwitcher. But if the person has strong blood in the first place, as we've heard, then the witch can't get them. So the bewitched has a domain that has a weakening of force that limits their ability to survive, to reproduce, and to produce, to make, you know, productive wealth. So Favret-Saada writes on 197, a spell is considered tighter or stronger if it affects the capacity to survive rather than the other two types, and less tight if it only affects productive categories. In other words, if the witch is attacking your health and driving you toward death that you cannot survive, that's really strong. If it's only going after your livestock, that's less strong. All right, let's take a break and we'll come on back.